Salve pessoal, belezinha? Sou o Vigoru, esse é o Project N, e se você reconhece esse logo, esse jogo, e isso fez parte da sua vida na década de 90, com certeza você vai gostar do que está por vir. Confira com a gente uma entrevista com o inigualável e o próprio David Wise. Pessoal, muito bom, muito obrigado por estar contigo aqui com a gente. Project N, eu sou o Vigoru, na câmera está Juan, e ao nosso lado está a lenda David Wise.
Hello, thank you for inviting me here. It's good to be at Gamescom Latam, so it's good.
Great. You are a legend. This is a fact.
Okay.
But how you see that title for you? You think it's overexpected? You like or not?
So it's almost like imposter syndrome.
Yeah. Okay.
So it still feels very surreal, but I'm not against it, but it's still a bit strange.
Okay. Right. Which game soundtrack you're really proud to be created?
So obviously the Donkey Kong Country series of soundtracks is the one that I'm probably most proud of. And I think with the aquatic ambience, that was the one that changed everything for me. We sort of had music up to that point, and then on the SNES, getting that to work changed everything. It changed the music I create, and obviously because of that, my life changed. So, which is why I'm here for,
Aquatic ambience is the
30 plus years later talking about.
This is one of my favorites too.
Cool.
And it's the topic of the next question. How was your creative process to do aquatic ambience? Because it's a water ambience for a game, and water ambience is something that don't make you feel comfortable in the games. But aquatic ambience involve you. You want to listen and forgive the game. All right. How was to create or how hard it was to get that point?
I was trying with aquatic ambience just to try a different technique of making the music. I was still coding everything. And so it gave me a lot more freedom. I didn't have to use the tools that was in it, the MIDI and things like that. Mm-hmm. So I had much more freedom with how I created the sound. So aquatic ambience was just a big experiment, technical experiment, to get little bits of musical data to blend with each other or to go rhythmically. And it worked. So that was the main thing. I wasn't really trying to create something emotionally. It just happened that way.
That's good. All video game music soundtracks that you did and you listen, where are your inspirations?
So I don't listen to video game music at all. I listen to film music, classical music, jazz music, rock music, anything.
That's music involved?
Yeah, music that's music for more of a performance type of thing. So, if you go and see classical music, it's very powerful. If you go and see a rock band playing rock music, it's also very powerful, but in a different way. Or if you go into a jazz bar for the evening, that's also very nice and relaxing, a different kind of vibe altogether. But I think with all of these things, as long as the music is good and it's performed well, it's an inspiration.
There's any Brazilian artist that you listen or to have some inspiration from him?
So years ago, I was at a Nintendo party in Los Angeles. We're at the hotel where they filmed Ghostbusters.
Oh.
And as part of that, in the big hall, there were 3 Latin bands. Koji Kondo really likes Latin music. And one of the bands there was called, Sergio Mendes and Brazil 66. And on stage, they had 3 amazing percussion players who were just banging everything as hard as possible. But it was very inspiring, very creative, and that really had a very strong influence on the music I then created for Nintendo.
In Donkey Kong games, you was involved with more restricted technology to put your song fit in the cartridge.
Yeah, it was tiny.
How hard it was to see your notes become beats.
Oh, I see. Yeah, absolutely. It's nice that people have taken the music and done something with it, but it was very, as you say, it was very hard to get the music onto such a small amount of memory.
You had so many conflicts with the sound engineering team? Something...
They just let me get on with it, really. Okay. So yeah, they just said, yeah, here we go, Dave, off you go.
Okay.
So I did. And it was very free. I was allowed to do what I wanted. All I was trying to do was to write the music or get the music that I wanted to listen to into the game. So they let me get on with it.
Great. From NES, yes, NES, let's go to ukulele in Nico Derico. We have a gap, jump of technology. The things are better, right? For game composer right now.
Yeah.
It's easier to compose and put in a game nowadays.
It's different to compose. It still takes the amount of energy, but it's just different. We've got bigger and better tools, but you need to learn how to use those to get the best out of them. So we've got lots of opportunities and lots of possibilities. But nowadays we've got a whole world to compete with musically. Sometimes I'm working with my competition are film composers, so who are very well known and very good at what they do. So I've got to step up all the time and learn new software all the time. So it's difficult, but in a different way.
In a different way. Right. And why those games from now has the music is so different from 90s, but don't catch us the same way?
Yeah, I think that's because if you're working on the NES or the Super NES or even the N64, there are so few channels that you had to work with. So the best way to carry the game was to invent themes, like musical themes, in the same way that if you're listening to a Star Wars film that John Williams did, when you hear din 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 din, that's a motif for the baddie.
Right.
So we're using similar things for Rare when we wrote soundtracks. Now you've got so many channels, you can have separate layers for ambiances and be very creative with that. You have separate layers for speech, separate layers for the music, separate layers for the sound effects. So you've got more scope, but there's less rememberable themes. And I think that's probably the main reason why you're not drawn in or attached to them quite as much.
There is any kind of soundtrack that you like to do, but you still don't did it yet? Or genre or something you like to try?
I've always wanted to do a horror soundtrack. The last one I did was Nightmare on Elm Street on the NES. So it would be nice. I've got all these sample libraries with such cool sounds on for a horror film that I've just never had a chance to use yet. So a horror type of game would be great. But I'm really happy doing cuddly toys or cuddly animals. It's all good.
Great. About your interactions with other game composers, like Koji Kondo,
yeah, absolutely.
How you see each other works?
I mean, obviously, Koji Kondo has done the Zelda stuff. He's done so many iconic soundtracks that you can't help but be influenced by that.
Great. To finish, any advice for any young game composer that is learning, that is trying to be a game composer as you? Any advice for them?
Obviously, you've got to learn your software. You need to know your tools. And you've also got to learn as many styles as possible and work on your delivery to have a good show reel with lots of different styles on it. And you've got to come to events where there's going to be people. It's no use talking to other composers. You need to talk to game developers and mingle with those. So it's about networking at that point. So there are lots of different skills you need. First of all, you've got to be good technically. You've got to be a good composer. You've got to know how instruments work, and you need to be able to sell yourself as well.
One step by time.
Yeah, so all of those things are really important. Or you get yourself a good agent who can do that for you.
Great. That is all.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your time. Obrigado, galera, por assistir a gente. E fique mais para mais notícias.
Yeah, obrigado. Thank you.
Bye.